now returning you to the Children of Primus.
Season 3. I mean, season 4.
Yep.
That was a headmaster.
That was a headmaster.
All right.
Very
So in
good.
other words, Orlotti. Wait, what?
Hey.
Hey.
Let's not talk about things.
Well, let's not
I
talk
know.
about
$20
things.
is $20. I know.
I'm just saying.
Right.
That's not what your mom said.
We are truly Gen X. Everybody just reverts back to mom jokes, and I love it still.
And a bag of chips.
That's right. It's not gay if you're in prison and you're out of cigarettes.
You know.
And on that note, welcome to Teletran 2 Frenzy Freestyle Sunday.
Yeah.
This is called the adult version part, so TikTok, let's start.
Yikes.
Don't.
So I will start a little bit with a couple of things here. So
Oh,
G1 World came.
Yeah, excellent
Nice.
shape. Looks like a reissue. Even though they never did.
Mm-hmm.
oh, is that really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Original
that.
World.
Hold on, that G1 you just said, or that?
Yeah, this is G1 World.
That's a
I
G1
don't have
World.
that one. I have
We were talking about the fact that he reminds me of Blue Thunder, and that people don't talk about Blue Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
But that Blue Thunder was the first naked tit I ever saw on the big screen.
I'm a blue screen kind of guy.
Like how the wording changed.
Yeah.
So you did the radio edit before.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. The first bare-chested female is what I said in the other one.
Yeah. Did
But,
that guy come with like all of his stuff? Because I know Whirl had like 7
No,
million
it didn't-
accessories.
Yeah, he has
Oh.
like 4 different things. He has 2 guns and 2 pieces that snap onto him in the jet mode or the helicopter mode. But I didn't get anything of it. There he is. Yep.
Yeah. To be fair, like
So-
the fact that he's minty fresh looking anyway, and it just
Mhm.
seems like a good enough of a get.
Mhm.
I wouldn't
And
exactly be
then-
complaining.
The next thing I have here, Toy Warp will enjoy these because he's a car guy. He'll know what I'm talking about. I asked Spin earlier if he knew what Rat Fink was.
That's the
And-
dad that ended in prison.
The new Magic set is called Aether Drift, and it's all about racing. And they did a series of the cards in the Rat Fink art style.
That art
Nice.
style has been around since mid-'60s.
Is that what
Yeah.
that's called? Because I immediately recognize the look. I didn't
Yeah,
know
where
it
they
had,
got
like,
the
a
big
name.
eyes and the big
Mhm.
teeth. And
Yeah,
they're
Yep.
one with the machine. That's called Rat Fink.
I've never.
I remember those.
Ed Roth, I think, is the artist of
Yeah.
those. I think.
I want to say that's right too.
Yeah.
And also, Toy Warp in that package sent those stickers that I got for the Evil Knievel thing here in Owensboro at the car show. The Evil Knievel stickers I got for you. So they'll be in there with the banner.
Okay. Thank you.
They just had some racing freebies, bunch of stickers and stuff. And I grabbed them. I was going to give them to you when you got to the wedding, but since you said you needed the banner, I went ahead and sent them with it.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah,
So-
car guys love stickers. You spend $3,000. Do I get a sticker with it?
Yeah. That's right. So when you
I want
open it up,
stickers. I want
these
car mats.
little pieces come flying out.
Speaking of that art style, hold on a minute. Let's see if you remember this. Hold on a
Here we
minute.
go. Down the road of nostalgia.
I
Yep.
was just about to say memory lane trips.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
it's going to
remember
take me
they
a minute
did
to get out.
similar
Aha!
art and stuff like that for surfers. There's like that monkey and gorilla and a cat and all that. Very similar. I remember those back in the early 80s.
Oh,
Do you remember these?
Oh, dude, I was just fixing to say, dude, I've got a box of old nostalgic thing. I got a whole box of cartoons magazines.
Oh, man,
Craft-
yeah. If you,
Crass and Bernie.
Crass and
I'm-
Bernie.
My was it my page or something like that? Where artists, people send in their own pictures. I'm in one.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got one of my pictures published in it.
Oh, far out.
Nice.
You
No,
ever want to come off those
my dad-
cartoons? You let me know.
My dad has the issue that I'm in his cedar chest. It's been sealed in a frame
Awesome.
and everything. But yeah, around here it was rare to get a comic book, but our local grocery store had cartoons.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
that. My dad was, whenever Peterson Publishing Company got bought out, that's who put out cartoons, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And when they got bought out, it ran for like 2 more years, and then anybody who had a subscription to cartoons, I think we got Hot Rod magazine. Whenever they closed out cartoons, I think we ended up getting Hot Rod magazine to finish out our subscriptions.
A whole magazine about Hot Rod sounds like my kind of.
Oh yeah, Hot Rod
Oh,
magazine. Was awesome.
yeah. Hot Rod Magazine was really cool until about the mid 90s, and they started making all these wild claims like, oh, you can make 500 horsepower from any Chevy small block. No, you can't, because their baseline for that was your baseline Chevy small block has 300 horsepower. Man, you know how long it's been since they had a 350 that made that kind of power? It was a long time. No, it wasn't happening. And they kept making claims like that. So Hot Rod kind of went the way of the dodo, and everyone went to Carcraft.
Right.
I was into crack at that time.
I
Welcome
mean,
to Children of Primus. We do not endorse the usage of crack.
What are you talking about?
Now
Don't
we
you
know why you
remember?
need that $20 so bad.
Hold on. Don't you remember those comics from Crack and Mad?
Oh, from Mad
yeah.
Magazine. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Cracked with a D at the end.
There we go.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, somewhere around here. I know it's Barry, but somewhere around here,
I
I got
got
the one where they
yeah.
made fun of Days of Thunder. It was hilarious.
Oh, no, I think
Let those left, right, and center, man. Those were actually funny.
those were funny. And in the comments section, hello there says, I am the destroyer.
Hello,
I am the destroyer says, I am the destroyer. Transformers fan is, I am the destroyer. And Unspeakable is, I am the destroyer. And somebody's mom is also the destroyer. The Special Agent Plunger Man is also the destroyer. I think our comment section has been destroyed.
Well, as long as someone doesn't say I am Uber, we're gonna be okay.
For you, my friend, no tax.
Okay,
Mud
I don't want to
flap.
hear. I don't want to hear I am Uber. That's all I'm gonna say.
Like your ride is here.
No, you know what? Because when I gotta go out and deal with the traffic with my police officer buddies, and all you have is these Uber guys. They're worse than taxi drivers, and all they say is, "Oh, I'm an Uber," and I will say, "Oh, I'm Michael. Leave." Right? So,
Yeah, apparently in Malaysia, their version of Uber's called Grab. So every time I saw, like, what is my friend grabbing to eat? Or she's grabbing something from the mall or something. She says, no, I'm grabbing a taxi that's called a Grab. I'm like, oh. So that, like, the whole week I was like, what the hell are you grabbing?
Translation gone wrong.
For a whole week, Sedum thought he was in like Flynn.
oh wow.
Yes.
I am a Transformer toy mom. I am the destroyer.
I love this. Keep
I
on
love
going.
it.
What even?
Keep going, people. Whoever you are, keep. Hey, remember to hit the like button and subscribe. So keep on going
Right.
with the comments. I love it.
And a few shares never hurts.
Exactly.
That is true. That is true.
Now, speaking of which, I know our main topic tonight is jazz, and Mr. Magnus suggested jazz because it was Black History Month last month, and for the month of February, there was a few guests that I wanted to, or a few ideas I had. Ideas didn't work out, so I quickly pivoted and created a short for every day of the month of February, showcasing all the Black voice actors that are in the Transformers franchise, including the director for Rise of the Beast. Because I know a lot of times when people say, well, Transformers voice actors or cartoon voice actors, we think of Peter Cullen and we think of everyone else, but we overlook all the other actors and actresses, and some I had no idea were also involved in the franchise. So that's a whole section that we have on our YouTube channel. And also, our articles written by Fear of Courage, a lot of praises have been sent by those articles. And just recently, and I'll see if we can feature a CBR article this evening to tear apart because another article came out and people are like, who writes this stuff? But, support our channel because we do have a talented writer who spends a week taking pictures, actually writing an article out properly. Check us out, childrenofprimus.com.
It's funny.
Also, shout out to our fearless leader there, Spin. That pivot was very fast, and those shorts were, on the spot every day.
Cool,
Yeah.
thank you.
They just kept coming, and I kept being like, "Oh, I learned a few things myself."
And myself, there were a few things that I learned, but it also gives me the appreciation of other content creators, including Toy Warp Vintage Reviews on YouTube and everyone else within Transformers or just anyone creating videos. It's a lot of work to create videos, to schedule them, to do all the editing. So doing the live streams is the quote unquote easy side of doing it, but to produce a video to release on a schedule, especially for every day of the month, that takes some time and work. And,
Hold on, Vin. Hold on, Spin. Are you trying to say that if somebody out there would like to help us out and do video editing,
perhaps
Hey, what am I over here, chopped liver?
to apply at childrenofprimus@gmail.com? Is that what you're trying to say at the end of the day here, Spin?
You do realize that over in this side we have Toy War Vintage Reviews who graciously gave us his voice to Anthony's writing, Miss Fear Courage's writing, that you can also check out on our channel. So aside from our written reviews, we have the audio version and video version of those reviews on our channel.
So
That's what you were trying to say, right?
So Toy Warp did a voice actor for Fear and Courage.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, you missed the memo.
Oh, I miss a lot of things, to be honest with you.
I was like,
It just goes over my head.
Good to know that all that hard work was watched. Hello,
Hey,
Children
listen,
of
you know
Primus.
what?
Yeah.
I was kicking a can and somebody asked me, why are you doing that? And I just said, because I'm moving.
Wait, you died?
No. Did you not hear the joke? You just killed it.
much like you were.
You just killed it like
apparently.
Jazz, okay? Mr. Megatron.
That's all right. You killed my hopes and dreams of becoming a YouTuber by not watching my videos. So
Yeah.
I watch.
Watch your videos.
I watch. What I can.
So to let Orlati know, since he doesn't, and anybody else watching here on the channel, I've put together video versions of Anthony's awesome articles. With the editing and the voiceover, reading the article and just making a video production out of it. So check those out here on the channel as well.
Oh, I get it now. I guess that's why they call me Mr.
Yeah, finally 18 times around the coffee cup, he finally finds the handle.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny initially because you posted like a rough cut of like the very first one that you did, and my only note was you should like identify that it's you saying it. And
Yeah, I
it's the
remember
thing
that.
I wrote because it was weird hearing like noted Floridian Toy Warp talking about Canadian Transformers distribution. So I was like, just make it clear who's writing and who's talking is not the same person because it's a little strange, and that was the only thing.
It could be
They'll be
weird.
coming.
At least he doesn't have a Cajun accent and sounding like Gambit. That would have been really awkward then.
You should not pass or cross this line, whatever.
Oh, that would have
I
been
killed that
funny.
one.
A Cajun accent on Fear Courage's writing. And like, oh, he's so
Gambit
again.
reviews.
Oh, get the gumbo.
Your Cajun accent would be funny with anything.
Yeah.
All
right.
right. So,
Oh my
as I announced in the first series,
Mm-hmm.
SS86 Ultra Magnus is going for around $250 to $275 on eBay right now, and SS86 Optimus Prime is going for $130 to $150. Both of these are now up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store for $89 a piece. So don't overprice yourself.
Mhm.
Get the good stuff decently cheap.
Okay,
are a lot
we have
cheaper
to
than
remind.
everybody else is trying to sell them.
Hold on,
I
we gotta
envy
remind our
y'all's low
audience.
prices.
Hold on, remember our audience. We have Americans and we have Canadians. So
Yes, these
89,
prices are American.
correct. So 89 in Canadian means 8,900.
Plus one of your kidneys and lungs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus tax.
Plus tax, plus
Yeah,
shipping.
but it's easier for
Right.
you guys to get it because you just pick up maple leaves off the ground.
Plus
No, no.
two
It was
like
funny
blood
because,
peels
like-
with Trudeau and
Don't make us
Whatever.
put
Yeah,
another.
this
When I
Canadian
started
dollar
to
actually
raise
does
this,
grow
I
on
set
trees.
aside about $200 for a commander between exchange and tax. That's not
Yeah,
even an
the
exaggeration.
Canadian dollars actually do grow on trees up there.
This is true.
It does.
Yeah,
And
I
it just-
envy
and it,
y'all
and it just blows
collecting the new
away
stuff.
after.
I
Careful.
envy you guys collecting the new stuff because the prices are so cheap. Like the cheapest one I am looking at right now is $500. You know,
Oh,
my
boy.
G1s. The cheapest one I'm looking at right now is $500.
Mm,
What do you think us Canadians play a lot of Monopoly?
there
Yes.
you go. Yes.
That's why you Americans call our money Monopoly money. So, bump. Okay. Anyways, let's get on topic here
There you
because
go.
because I'm pissed off at Uncle Phil. So go ahead.
What? Oh, okay.
oh, I can't
Took
stand
me
them
a
either.
So our main topic for today is Autobot Jazz, and I will get some of the images and stuff up. And
It's just in
Just
the middle
be-
of transforming his origin figure, just almost done.
nice. And Motormaster said, "Should I call up Swindles so you guys can ask him the question of the night?" Go ahead, Motormaster. Do ask. Call him up so we can ask him the question of the night.
That Swindle was in.
Of the night.
Is
Swindle
he
said I'm
destroyer too?
destroyer about 6 up. Swindle's in.
Swindle's in here. And say, where's the rest of the Combaticons and Stunticons? Like, they
No
should
way.
be in the comments section too.
Oh, there's
I got
Swindle. I see him right
Vortex on
there.
I got them in the.
pre-order,
I
waiting
got.
for the rest of them to
I got
go.
them over there. They're in the cabinet over there.
There you go.
There we go. Got this guy done. I popped him out because, like, if you want a jazz, this is the best jazz in my opinion. So, that's.
Which
and,
one is that one?
Buzzworthy Origin Jazz. This is the one that changes into his Episode 1 vehicle, but you know, you can sort of tell around the back, but like around the front, he pretty much looks like he changes into a Porsche. It's not even that he changes into his Episode 1 vehicle. They just like really did a good job on this particular figure. Like, I had the Studio Series one that actually did change into a Porsche, and this guy turned out better in terms of like pretty much everything: his engineering, his transformation, his whole look. So, I mean, he's kind of hard to find on the aftermarket now because he was a
I
Buzzworthy
know.
exclusive, but like,
They'll
this
keep you
is
from
the
having to
best jazz.
transform him.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I saw
that's-
the.
Oh, yeah,
there's
you got
gonna
the
be
other
a
one on your
Japanese
screen?
tree
Yeah, there he
pack
is.
with
Oh, the
three
Cybertronian
origin
mode.
figures.
Yeah. And like, if it's not important that he specifically change into a Porsche, this is the best one because I think he just turned out really good, regardless of the mission statement. So like, that's my go-to if you want a jazz figure.
And then this is the 86.
Yeah.
I like him because he has the tow cable for a hand.
Oh, that didn't come standard. You had to have added that yourself.
No, it was part of his packaging in the SS86 one.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just a little accessory that you pop, you leave his hand folded, and it pops onto him.
That's strange. That's not, and like I reviewed him. He didn't come with that in at least when I had one.
Because
he
Canada
not?
sucks.
He has the American version there, Anthony.
I'm saying, oh God.
You know,
Yeah, like in fact,
they
that was
throw
like a
in things when they
criticism I
bu-
had.
no, they
Like
see
he-
Americans. Hold on, Americans throw things in there when you buy stuff. Here, they take away things when we buy stuff. So,
No, obviously.
no.
Yeah, like,
And
Just
this is another jazz that I have.
oh yeah, Power of the Primes one where there was a. He
Actually,
can-
I have that one.
He came in a box of an assortment that I ordered.
Yeah, I got his ricochet kind
yeah,
of power.
so that guy's a combiner limb. You can make him an arm or a leg on a combiner.
So why don't we start with Mr. Magnus, because he's just going on a roll there. So
Yeah.
how about you start it off and talk about Mr. Jazz there?
Well, Scatman Carruthers is a very unique voice.
Mhm.
You pick him up anytime he's in any cartoon, and he made the character. I don't know much of the history or anything of it, but anytime Jazz spoke and it had music going on, he was there getting down with it. Jazz was one of my favorite characters from the G1 cartoon.
Mhm.
Brave to a fault and everything. One of the first ones to always jump right in and get it done. So you got to love Jazz. That's my output of it.
That's fair.
Just for future reference for the rest of the night, I know he transforms into a Porsche. I am the only person here allowed to say Porsche. The rest of you peasants have to say Porsche. That's just how it works. You have to be a Porsche owner to say Porsche. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Okay,
Peasants.
Grandpa.
And do you hold your cup of tea like this too?
He's really far away.
There he is.
Ah, there it is.
He's gradually getting closer.
Gradually.
Yeah, that was reminded me of one of the thoughts I had.
Did we
Maybe
just
I'll
had a
just-
line go off?
Yeah.
Huh?
I heard a line in the background.
A
I don't
lion?
know. I mean,
That'd be me, none.
Oh, okay.
Swindle says, "What's your question?" Yeah, what is the question of the evening?
What is
What's
the
your
question
opinion
of
on
you?
Jazz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I guess Toy Warp is next, because that's how I'm looking on the screen here.
Oh yeah, he does come next on the pile of people.
Yeah. You can go ahead, Mister. Dare to say Porsche or Porsche?
I
am-
apologize, Anthony. I apologize. The winch actually came with the DNA DK25 upgrade kit for Jazz, Hot Rod, Cup, and Starscream.
Yeah, I figured. I was like, where? I mean, it's cool. I was like, where did that come from?
Yeah, like
It was in the DNA DK25 upgrade kit.
Yeah, all right, that makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, I know the upgrade kit I had the wrench, then his two like G1 toy shoulder guns, the radio speakers, and I want to say it was an alternate gun to the one that came in the figure itself, but I could be wrong about that. But the rest is there in the picture. And then the toy hats.
And Mr. Toy Warp. So what is your views on Jazz?
All right, I am disappointed. Again, like everybody else, I loved G1 Jazz. It was weird because G1 Jazz often had the spotlight in the cartoon, but he never got a spotlight episode. Kind of like, Beachcomber and Golden Lagoon, and just lots of characters who didn't necessarily deserve it got the spotlight.
Right.
Like Powerglide. But anyway,
That wasn't so bad.
yeah, I was really disappointed we never got a spotlight episode on Jazz. It would have been so cool to delve further into that character, figure out why he was so brave, figure out why he was an Autobot, figure out why that's the side he chose. Delve into his Cybertronian mode, and he was. I know in that history of the Transformers that I'm doing over on Toy Warp, he was a racer on Cybertron. So going back and maybe having a spotlight episode, having featuring that somehow would have been really interesting. I'm really disappointed that we never got a spotlight episode for Jazz.
I was gonna say they didn't hit on the spotlight episode formula until the second season, so that's why it's mostly 85 guys that get it. But they found room for like changing gears and stuff right at the start of the season, so there's definitely would have been some space.
Yeah.
I'd have much rather had one about Jazz than Gears.
Yeah. And the whole point of the Gears episode was he was acting out of character instead of being in character.
Mm-hmm. I should quickly jump over to the link that Mr. Magnus sent.
Oh yeah, the DNA design kit. See, yeah, this was like a criticism that I had of the Studio Series figure, was that he just had his gun as his accessory and that was it, instead of having all the like his speakers or the grappling hook or something. Like the Origin one here comes with a sort of a grappling hook. You can flip his arm away and attach that. It doesn't have a winch, but like it's something.
I'd really love that to have that. If that was an upgrade kit for G1, I'd love to have that.
Yeah, the ecosystem of these things doesn't really do G1 stuff. Unfortunately, it tends to just focus on like brand new figures that have come out. Well, no, I don't agree with it. I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool.
Oh no, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just making fun of the fact that all the guys that collect the new stuff get all the cool shit apparently. So
Yeah. Yeah. But like DNA and non-F are just like machines about this. They're just like any figure that comes out, they're gonna do an upgrade kit whether it needs it or not, because that's how like it works now.
Well, Fair Courage, what is your thoughts on Jazz?
Yeah, quite a few things. First of all, it was really interesting watching The Shining and being like, oh, Scatman Crothers wasn't doing a voice for Jazz. He just like sounds like that in real life, like completely unchanged.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing that I remember is when they put the pilot back in theaters and we watched it. Jess had never seen it before, and she was talking to me about it afterwards, and she was like, "So is Jazz the second in command?" And I was like, "There's some debate around that." She was like, "I think he's the second in command because he was the one marshaling everybody." So like, to somebody who's not in the sauce and like. From an outside observer, she was like, "Oh yeah, he has to be the second in command based on what I saw." I had something else I was going to say, but yeah. I always thought that his death in the 2007 movie was unfortunate, not just because it happened, but because they definitely like stopped using him in stuff for a while after that. Like he was in Transformers Animated as a guest character, and then he just kind of wasn't in stuff for a while because of like the ripple effects of the movie, and that was kind of unfortunate. Yeah,
Well, they made him that. They made him that Pontiac Solstice.
yeah, talk about a downgrade.
Yeah.
Right, and then wasn't it? It was either right before the movie came out or right after the movie came out. Pontiac went belly
died. Yeah.
And so it was either foreshadowing or it was after the fact. Well, we made him a dying car, so we'll just go ahead and kill him in the movie.
It was the exact same case as with Bumblebee, where they had to do that because Porsche at the time did not want to work with them to license the car because they were like, we don't want to be associated with quote-unquote war toys. Mm-hmm. Obviously, by the time Rise of the Beasts happened in 2023, I guess the dump truck full of money was big enough that they were able to do that.
Oh, no, that's because they got caught rigging their cars to pass smog tests. Oh. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like the programming in the car, if you plugged it in, it would read one thing, but it was doing a totally something else. And they ended up with a huge federal lawsuit over that. So yeah, they needed that dump truck full of money.
It was all of Volkswagen, so even Audi, Volkswagen, and Porsche, because they're all one family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I remember you said that about Volkswagen. I didn't realize Porsche was like under the same umbrella of stuff.
Yeah.
Another lion.
There's something about the really German engineering.
Yeah, there's a really great
Volkswagen, Porsche.
Of IDW's comics that does spotlight Jazz, because he was sort of people had problems with him because during an earlier arc there was a bunch of brainwashed police officers that were like using Megatron guns to shoot, and he wound up killing a cop on camera, so the people of Earth like weren't happy with him.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that's just backstory. The point of the issue was he was like, "Man, let me just have an interview. Can I have that?" So, this like half of this issue is like a printed interview, like a magazine with Jazz about his like backstory in life, and it was really interesting to read. Unfortunately, it gets interrupted by the plot halfway through, and I was like, "Damn it! I would have read the rest of this if you printed it because it was really interesting." But he talks about how like there was a particular genre of music on Cybertron, like it was some sort of march. It was like a science fiction word and then a march. And he started naming himself after that because he was really into music. Like he wanted to be a musician before the war started getting real. And he's like, when I came to Earth, tried to translate it, jazz was the closest equivalent word that I could find in English, so that's how I identify myself to humans. It's not quite the same musical style, but when you translate it, it comes out about the same. Just a really interesting little bit of science fiction world building that they did with him. And he talked about like falling in love with earth music and like naming all these jazz musicians and stuff that he was really into. And he's like, I didn't just listen to new music, I listened to old music. You know that guy Bach? I think that's what the inside of Prowl's brain sounds like all the time. Yeah. Yeah, great issue. I'm trying to figure out which I'm going to look up what issue number it is just so people can like look it up. But that's like probably one of the better jazz stories just because of that like magazine interview that takes up a big chunk of the issue. I'm going to have to go silent while I look that up for a minute. Yeah, those are my opinions on the guy, I think. I'm glad that he's finally getting to be in more stuff. I'm glad that he got to be in the comics. He's been getting a really good amount of like panel time in the Skybound comics where they make him use a lot of musical puns when he talks. Where is it? There we go. The title of the issue is What It's Really Like, and it is Optimus Prime issue 8 by IDW Comics. Didn't even say Transformers, it's just called Optimus Prime.
Cool.
I'm just going to post the link in our group chat here so that... whoops. And there it goes, so that can go places. Yeah, so that's a good one to check out if you want like a standalone jazz story that's pretty good. But or just read Skybound. Like one of the images there on our cover was of the most recent Skybound issue. Yeah, that's just the wiki page.
Did you say that Skybound issue was super expensive for some reason?
Yeah, I didn't get that. I don't know, maybe because it's a variant cover or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a variant cover.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
well,
because
there
it's
you
a
go.
variant cover, not because it's a reprint or maybe the original issue if it's like one of the first few that's came like the first print run.
Yeah, that's a good cover too because that's him in the studio getting interviewed. I guess I should clarify. It was like a recorded television interview. Just in the comic, once he started talking, they presented it to the reader like it was a magazine interview with the dialogue back and forth between them.
That's cool.
Hector Ramirez was interviewing him, so they kept that little bit of continuity happening.
Oh,
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So that's a good jazz story. Yeah, I'm just glad that he's finally come back after the movie kind of made him go into the background for a while.
Mm-hmm. Impactor. Sennenbach Arts. What say you about jazz?
Well, I'll show this first since you were talking about it earlier. The upgrade kits. This is a different one, but based off the same stuff. I remember you liked to post a while. When was this? Back in 2021. So.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely put some toy hacks on him too, because I know the
Yeah,
actual figure
that's
doesn't
mine.
just say
That's my
martini.
jazz.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna say, I remember my first jazz. I had the Pretender jazz as a kid, the Kmart release that came with just the jazz, and then I also had the
little legend one.
Bumblebee and the Grimlock from the same line. I never had the Starscream. I did have a G1 or a G2. I know I had a G2 Starscream, so he's a lot bigger than my Jazz, Bumblebee, and Grimlock. But I also had the blue Grimlock as a kid, and then I had the the video game Jazz.
Fall of Cybertron Jazz, yeah.
I had that Jazz. I owned that game, but I had never actually played it that much, except for like installing it on my PS3. Which I still have. I just never gotten around to playing it.
I never got to play it because my brother's Xbox Red Ring.
I know I posted on the Facebook in response. I found it. I know in the RID 2015, like not the side swipe. The side swipe there's two different side swipes. The one that appears in the games, and then there's the one that appears in 2015. Same with Grimlock. There's 2 different Grimlocks, and
Yeah.
in the first season, maybe a little bit of the second season, if I'm remembering correctly. But I know Windblade's around first, and Sideswipe has a little bit of a. I mean, she's obviously an older bot, so she has the senpai thing going on, but he's a senpai for her. He's simping for her. And then Jazz comes along and kind of gets him to follow bro code and stop chasing hoes and stuff, and like, have some self-respect, buddy. Well, but being cool about it somehow, because he says like Jazz just is so effortless with being awesome in Sideswipe's eyes. So he's like the cool, like older brother he never Sideswipe never had, and he's like his man crush in 2015 series. And he literally like he goes from like I'll go with Sides, I go with Windblade to I'll go with Jazz. He's my bro. We're gonna kick some cons' asses.
I didn't watch that far into that show, so I'm going to trust your recap of events is accurate.
So that I guess you could say, hey, you got to be a pretty badass dude to make a horny teenager, put bros before hoes. That's a superpower in and of itself, I think anyhow.
Mr. O, your thoughts about Jazz?
Sorry, I'm still trying to get what Shelton was to say. I'm sorry. Wow, where do I start, man? Because Jazz for me. Okay, there's a lot of things that Fee and Courage has said, which I do agree a lot. But I'm gonna talk more on a personal level because Jazz for me as a G1er was a character that I can really relate to. Especially the area that Spin and I we grew up in, right? Because we're like really into music, and I had 2 older cousins that were like DJs, and they got me into DJing as well too. So the fact that he was into the whole music and his whole sound, his whole groove, his whole style, he's all slick and everything. He was just one of the characters besides Optimus Prime, right? He was just my guy. I actually was conflicted when they brought out Blaster. Because I was like, oh my goodness, here we go. We're going to replace Jazz with this guy here. I could understand, Blaster, being the communication guy, and, he's the rival to Soundwave, right? But I was like, I hope they don't replace Jazz, man, because that's my boy. That's my boy. And not just only that, I've loved Porsche. Sorry, I'm going to say it that way.
Peasant.
Okay, until today, I'm still looking for a Porsche because of him, right? Because I want to get a Porsche,
good luck.
right? Yeah, I do. And then not just only that, back in 2010, when Transformers were coming back out again, and releasing all these cool figures, this guy here was actually my first buy-in.
The Shield or whatever it was called.
Yeah, you want to blow it up?
Jazz,
You want to blow it up? Yeah, so this here, I haven't opened it up for 15 years, okay? This is the first Transformer that I bought going back into the collections because look how wonderful that vehicle is.
You should open it. It was a fun figure.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to open it. So, it's like, here's the figure itself, right? Yeah, it's just a great looking figure, and I love it.
What is he there? A Mazda RX-8?
Well,
it's a one. Yeah, it's a
he's
one.
Nothing because he's not licensed, so he's
Exactly.
no particular. car.
Right, and
He will not get Hasbro sued.
Yeah.
So not just only that, he was just a really, really, really cool figure. And here's I want to give a bit of a shout out because blow me back up, Spin. Today I went to a comic book place because I know we were going to be talking about Jazz, and I wanted to get a comic book with Jazz's cover, not the $129. But I ended up going to this place called Nowhere, and it's the middle of nowhere, and it's near St. Clair and Kiel area. So if you happen to be in Toronto, Ontario, near St. Clair and Kiel.
Kiel and St. Clair.
Kiel, St. Clair, whatever, St. Clair and Kiel. It is a great little place to pick up some comic books, and I actually picked up quite a few comic books, and I happened to come across this. It's an IDW, and who do we have here?
I recognize that art style anywhere. Yeah, Dreamwave.
Yeah, Dreamwave. Oh, did I say IDW? Sorry, Dreamwave and
Well, you one letter off.
yeah, you're right. And when I saw this cover, I was like, I gotta pick this up. I just gotta
Recognize
pick
that
this
art
up,
style everywhere.
right?
Yeah,
Because
it's
this
what,
guy here,
Mirage
like,
and Prowl behind him.
yeah, but you know what? Jazz is the guy. You're looking at Jazz. You're not looking at the other two. Jazz is the main guy, and Jazz has
Yeah.
always been the main guy. He's right next to Optimus Prime. I know there's always been that discussion who was second in command. People thought it was Ironhide or maybe Prowl, but for me, it was always Jazz. And I agree with Toro Warper as well too. It's a shame they never did at least some kind of episode with him.
Mhm.
You know, they always put him just short of enough that you want more. Like, come on, man, come on. And you know, he was a fast car. That's why him and Blur, you know, that whole Olympics part. You know, they were driving around and doing that competition, and Jazz was there. I know I'm kind of going on and on and on about him because I just loved him. And the last part, yeah, you know, it really sucked when Uncle Phil always kicked him out of the house.
I get
You
the
know-
reference now.
It just pissed me off, man. Every time, you know, I'm there watching, you know, First Prince and Dr. Phil just has to grab Jazz and just throw him out the house, and that sucked, man.
You know,
He
there
didn't
was that
deserve
Dr. Phil.
there was that one episode where Jazz threw Phil out the house.
Oh, I missed that one.
Oh, it's a rare episode. And I think-
Interesting.
Yeah,
So,
and
wait,
it-
I remember there was one where he threw himself out of the house just after. Like,
So I know you're talking
I
about
think
the
so.
Fresh
I'll
Prince
do it
of
myself.
Bel-Air. Who did the voice actor for Jazz do on Fresh Prince?
No,
Jazzy
the
Jeff.
joke is the DJ was called DJ Jazzy,
Jazzy Jeff.
Jeff.
Ah,
And
okay.
everybody
okay.
called him Jazz.
Oh, Will's friend.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I see.
Okay. Yeah.
I get what you're
Yeah,
talking
by the
about.
way, Will Smith,
That just
stop
killed me
buying
off.
movies for your son to be in. I'm pretty sure DJ Jazzy Jeff is homeless.
No, he's not. He's
He's
a very
not.
rich person. Very rich person right now.
Joke. It was a joke.
He's not
Like,
kicking a
if you-
can,
if
I
you-
can tell you that.
you know, Jazzy Jeff, you know, when Will pivoted towards Hollywood, Jazzy Jeff pivoted back into music, and that whole neo soul movement, that was he had his hand on that. So he was always working, always working.
Collecting them producer checks.
hmm
Exactly.
But
All the royalties.
Mr. O, I'm gonna revoke your Toronto card because you said St. Clair and Kiel. You said it backwards.
Well, you could have been driving on St. Clair going on to Kiel.
You still say Kiel and St. Clair. Like, you know, someone's from Jane and Finch when they say Jane and Finch. If they come to you and be like, "Yeah, I'm from Finch
Yeah,
and
but I'm not
Jane,"
from-
and I'm
yeah,
like,
but I'm not
"You're
from
not,
there."
you're not from here."
This
No.
is all exceedingly Canadian.
Yes.
Yes, it is,
I'll throw some tariffs in there.
Mr. Porsche. But you know what? Just to kind of wrap it up, and I think most of us were in a in agreement here that Jazz is one of the favorite Autobots out there, and he was done wrong in the movies.
Very wrong.
Yeah, and not just only that, even when they replaced him with Mirage and Beast Wars, there should have been Jazz, but again, we understand why. But I think he's a great Autobot, and I don't think anybody here or anybody else in the interweb will disagree what I think all of us are saying here.
Set
It's
him
not
as
really a
a.
controversial character.
Fear and Courage probably could expand upon this. I remember, wasn't Jazz a major character, or at least a major supporting character in the Transformers Exodus, or whatever the first of the Transformer novels during the Prime Trilogy area?
Oh gosh. Well,
The
a lot of
David
people
Cian
read
books?
those. No.
Oh.
Exodus was the first of the Transformers Prime novels I was talking about. And it's pretty much just a retelling of War for Cybertron, the video game. Well, some stuff before it, then the game's events, and some stuff after. So, a lot of G1 guys were in that.
Yeah, I remember you
Jazz.
get some behind the scenes of them, like the Decepticons setting up their first terrorist attacks, and
Yeah.
like Jazz and Optimus kind of impromptu deciding we need to do something to fight against this thing that is happening right now that no one was expecting. And you kind of
That
see
is a
them
good
pull their
screen
chops
capture up
together as before they're even formally military, leader and commander just impromptu, just working together in that novel.
So for the reference, those who didn't understand the joke in terms of the TV show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, DJ Jazzy Jeff, which we have on the screen, which originated from, what was now I forgot their rap name, DJ Jazzy Jeff
and the Fresh Prince.
And the Fresh Prince. Which, funny, there's been a lot of online arguments in recent years, and again, you can tell the generation that didn't understand what was happening, because a lot of people thought that because Will was doing Hollywood and stuff, that's how he got the Fresh Prince of TV show, the TV show, and it's actually the other way around. He was popular in music well before the TV show. Quincy Jones, met up with him and said, "Hey, you're popular in music. Let's create a TV show kind of based on your characters." Then that's what made him get into Hollywood. So a lot of people thought he was a Hollywood star who then started rapping. It's the other way around.
If you scroll down right there, it says in the career, it says Jeff met Will Smith at a party in 1985. Jeff was performing, and when his hype man was late to the party, Will filled in, and the two teamed up as DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince from then on.
I think that's what happened with Optimus Prime and Jazz.
More or less, yeah.
That's a story right there, man. I'm telling you.
Whoever used to be the second in command was late, so then Jazz just filled in.
That's
exactly.
Now, with the debate in terms of second in command, I know the debate's always between Jazz and Prowl, and I figured, since we're talking about Jazz, let's quickly pull up Prowl's tech specs, and looking at between the two, Prowl has more of a strength than Jazz. Intelligence, they're both matched. Speed, they're both matched. But then for endurance, Prowl has a higher ranking than Jazz. Rank wise, Prowl has a higher rank than Jazz, where Jazz is only 8, Prowl is at 9. Both of them are the same in courage. Jazz is slightly higher for firepower, but then skill level, Jazz is higher than Prowl. And then when you read on their bios, it makes sense why Jazz has the higher skill in terms of his agility and everything over than Prowl.
It is funny that his rank is a bit lower. Like, that doesn't bear out his role in the show, which is what I was basing my opinion on.
Which, I mean, it's always, and again, that unfortunate thing where it's like, even though, however the bios and everything were written, once it hit the cartoon, a lot of details were slightly changed. Because, I mean, clearly it almost says who's in charge and everything, but when you watch the cartoon, it's a completely different storyline.
Yeah. I mean,
in the cartoon, you don't really see Prowl that often. Not in a leadership position.
Except for that one excellent shot when he's dying on the Ark in the movie.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tech specs never matched the cartoon, because I remember Triptychon's tech spec puts his intelligence at like a 9 or a 10.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Wait, what?
Wow.
They did. That makes something make sense. They made a joke out of that when he appeared in Dreamwaves comics. The joke was that even though he was a big stompy T-Rex, he was like this chatty, erudite, like sort of British-sounding guy. It took everybody by surprise. Maybe that's why they made that decision. Because I was like, oh, that's a good gag. But then, if his tech spec was 9, they're just being like lore accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because he's a T-Rex, and the T-Rex was stupid. Look what they did to Grimlock.
Well, maybe he was so smart that he had to dumb himself down in order to talk to everybody.
Bro, that's literally canon in Marvel,
right?
Not to get too far off, and maybe we need to make this another topic. But when you have two of the smartest guys on the Autobot team, Ratchet and Wheeljack, decide to make Dinobots, where in their conversation did they go, "Hey, the original dinosaurs were stupid. Let's make the biggest, baddest things that we've ever created also stupid"?
They were too busy improbably making new Transformers life without any source of it.
You know,
Listen,
and
let's-
anyhow,
Let's
we
just be
should-
happy. Hold on. Let's just be happy they didn't come out purple.
This is
Long
true.
years of dinosaur from our imagination. That's all I know.
Oh yeah, in the '90s, when Beast Wars had a significant haterdom of G1 guys, they always compared Beast Megatron to Barney because he was a purple T-Rex.
Truck, not monkey.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think history has kind of borne that one out a bit differently.
Well, I remember even Tor Warp like complimenting Beast Wars, Megatron for being more smarter than G1 that because he actually saw
Yeah.
it where G1 was sort of like,
He was
here goes my
more
plan.
successful overall. Like, I mean, he still had to lose at the end of the day, but like, especially later on in the show, he like won quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wonder why. He had somebody to learn from,
Yeah.
right?
He learned from his predecessor's stupidity.
I am really glad that Anthony got me to watch it. It was worth the watch.
Yeah, I mean, they have to undo it because, you know, the bad guys aren't going to win on this show, but like the whole end of the second season is just everything he planned just like working out for him, and
Nice.
him doing a big universe shattering thing that gets undone. But I watched it back in the day and everybody was like, oh my god.
Oh, the fact that it ended the way it did on season 2.
Yeah, I just put yourself in my shoe because I'm pretty young at this point, so everything feels like it takes longer because you're young, and the way the second season ended with that shot heard around the universe, and then having to wait what felt like 5 years to see what was going to happen after that, it was something. I got that. If the people that didn't like Beast Wars, the Truck Not Monkey people, hadn't already bought into it, that the 3-parter that ended season 2 was the thing that made them all buy in.
Interesting.
I'm trying to avoid spoiling things. That's why I'm
Right.
so oblique. Because everybody should watch the show, and if somehow you don't know, even better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here is Scatman Carruthers voice acting. So he was an American actor and musician, best known for his playing the part of Louis the Garbage Man on the TV show Chico and the Man, and Dick Halloran in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Yep.
He was a public profile voice actor who provided the voices of Meadowlark Lemon in the Harlem Globetrotters animated TV series
remember
on
that.
Saturday
Mhm.
morning cartoons in the U.S.
Yep.
You can't
Jazz
get
the
it,
Auto-
do.
Jazz the Autobot in the Transformers and the Transformers the movie in 1986. The title character in Hong Kong Phooey, and Scat Cat in Disney's animated film The Aristocrats.
Nice.
The Aristocats. I didn't realize he died in 1986.
Yeah. Which
Oh, I thought
So-
it was 87.
which then why they I remember what was the details in terms of when they had him in season 3 because he had already passed away from the movie.
Well, he doesn't have any spoken lines in season 3. He just sort of briefly appears in Five
Yeah.
Faces of Darkness, taking
Mhm.
part in the Olympics.
Transforms
Yeah.
and zooms off. That's the last you see him.
Yep.
Yeah, the only, one little silver lining was he did get to come back a little bit in Headmasters in Japan because it was a different voice actor. You know,
Okay.
which came out the year after. Like, it wasn't a major character because obviously there wasn't a new toy, but like he got some lines. He got to briefly exist again.
Cool.
So in the original Dan Gilvison's book, Bumblebee and Me,
Oh, yeah.
it explains how during the voice acting sessions when they would have like just Peter and Frank in the booth, or just one or two other actors in the booth, Scatman Crothers actually brought in his guitar and would play music for everybody else sitting there waiting to get into the booth,
Huh.
to do their lines for that day.
wow.
And he did it like daily.
Oh, so would that be the inspiration behind the short that Hasbro did with Jazz?
I didn't
Where
see
he
the
was
short,
playing
so
Oh, sorry, Fear?
The one where he was like playing music.
Yeah. Yeah, on like I think it was the last year, the year before, like their 40th anniversary, they made a series of shorts, and actually a bunch of them were pretty funny, and it shows Jazz sitting in the studio playing a guitar.
Ah, yes.
And then there's Nod a Sharkticon, whereas he transforms and he's like, well, what is my reasoning for this part? And he's speaking like a British actor.
It was all like fake behind the scenes filming stuff was like the joke of these shorts.
Yeah, but
so that makes
make
cool. Even more sense.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now.
In 1955, he went on USO tours with Bob Hope.
Oh.
Playing music and from his album Rock and Roll with Scatman Carruthers.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't know he had like an album out. Is that on Spotify? Can I find it?
The names of his albums, he's only got a couple albums. There were... I just saw them. Got to find them again. Oh, no, it says he released singles.
Okay.
Yeah, he released several singles, including I'd Rather Be a Hummingbird, Blue-Eyed Sally, and Television Blues. And then he had an album called Rock and Roll with Scatman Carruthers.
Nice.
I'm like really curious now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I did not know this about him.
Spin, you didn't give your opinion about
his big records came from, he was the he played the guitar for a music group called the Ramparts.
Wonder where they are today.
Yeah, I did not know any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you didn't give your opinions.
Yes,
my opinion on Jazz. Well, let's say with as you said with Blaster coming out and being conflicted, I was never conflicted with the two. Whereas it's like I kind of enjoyed having the two characters just musically themed, whereas like now there's Jazz and Blaster. But in terms of myself, I found Jazz to be just that cool character that connected to, and not realizing I connected to him because he had he was a black voice actor, which because Scatman has such a unique voice, you just automatically know it's him. But he was just always just a cool, laid back, cool character, and just like anything's happening, you can't really hold down Jazz either because he's quick. Comes up with the plan, and then he's just overall he was just the coolest out of all of the first run of characters. And I mean, even within the second season, like he always just stood out as just that cool, laid back, chill character, and just playing music and doing whatever. So I've always had Jazz was always one of my original favorites. Before I had a few other favorites as the series went on.
I want to add to that. Like, we never talked about his vehicle form really, and I think Jazz had the best vehicle form compared to the brothers. And you know what I mean by the brothers, the Lamborghini,
The Datsun brothers,
Lamb
yeah.
Bros.
Yeah, even the Datsuns, all the Datsun brothers as well too. The only other vehicle that maybe I kind of liked as well too was Hound, because it was just totally different as a Jeep, right? But if you look at all the other car vehicles, I think Jazz stood right out, man. That was such a beautiful looking vehicle that he had. Even and it had the right amount of racing stripes on it and stickers and so forth, right? That's just me.
That was an actual livery for the paint for the race car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a real. It was
Martini.
weird finding a photo of it and going, "Oh, that's just the toy, but gigantic."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah,
think
and
it'd be so
very
direct.
expensive. When it comes to the Autobot cars, Jazz would be the most expensive nowadays. It's been quite a few years now since I looked up the price, but it was something ridiculous. It'd be probably a toss-up between Jazz and Mirage, being which cars are worth the most money now.
Wheeljack's like a one-of-a-kind car that he changed into.
Yes, and there's only one in existence, but it's never been sold, so don't know how much it would go for.
Value infinity.
Well, no, not really. It would if it had racing pedigree behind it, but it was built and never raced because the series it was built for never happened.
Oh wow.
It was something that, it was supposed to be. They went to the factories and said, "Hey, yeah, we're going to do this racing series," and then didn't end up doing it after companies had built these cars for this racing series. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
where
for some reason Takara was like, "This is the car we should make one of our car robos out of."
Well, no, and you're absolutely correct. And this is the reason why, again, I go back to Jazz because again, you had the Lamborghinis, you had the Datsuns, and you only had the very few individuals, right? And in those very few individuals, Jazz is the one for me stood right out.
Yeah, and here's funny. I forgot that detail because personally, I don't like any Porsches except for Jazz. Jazz is the only Porsche that I like, and also because I know I'll never see. So because anyone says like, "Oh, look, there's a Porsche," and I'm like, if it's not Jazz, I don't care. And I know I'll never see him on the road. So it's like he's the only specific model of Porsche that I like.
Wait a minute, hold on, Cliff Jumper.
Hang on.
Hold on,
Hey,
none of that 944 crap, kind of Porsche.
Okay,
If you come to Rockport for the wedding spin, I can let you touch one.
Oh,
what,
hold on, touch what?
A good friend of mine's got a midnight black 911.
Oh, okay.
nice.
So stealth mission Jazz.
It's a bad son of a bitch.
No, Jazz is a 935.
I was about to say.
Oh, is he a 935?
He's a 935.
Yeah.
He's
Not
very rare.
935, yeah.
We all say the Turbo 911, right? Because that's the one that we see
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can see it everywhere, but you see it live in front of you. That almost looks like Jazz, but it is what.
Jazz is so unique. Like just yeah, none of them look like Jazz.
But hold on, but he wasn't the only Porsche Transformer there, Spin. You had Cliff Jumper. You had
Wild Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a Porsche 928.
Yep.
Yeah, but those guys came afterwards. We're talking about the OG.
Yeah, and
Cliff Jumper showed up just about is OG.
He is OG, but hold on. Let's take it one step back here, okay? When you look at Cliff Jumper, we all thought that was like a red Bumblebee.
This is
super
true.
deformity. Yeah. Trying to think
there was a red
Right?
Bumblebee.
It looked like that. It looked like Cliff Jumper in a vehicle mode. If you're gonna call that a Porsche, looked like it got smashed. Right? You know what I mean? From front and back, right in together. Right? Didn't look like a Porsche, and that's why a lot of people were surprised when everybody else started to correct those people, saying, "Hey, that's a 944 Porsche," and people, "No, get out! No, it's not. It's another Bumblebee. What are you talking about? Just painted in red. What do you mean, right?" But again, I'm gonna keep on harping on this. Jazz was just.
Yeah, I mean, the other Autobot and Decepticons that were Porsches were cool, but they weren't Jazz. Like Jazz just stood out.
They were wannabes.
Yeah, something about the Autobot race cars actually. Yeah, you're right. Stood out more than the regular production cars.
But mind you, the Stunticons were very cool, though. When that whole concept came out. But for me, Jazz still just stands, on its own pedestal.
I wonder what it was that led, because I was musing about it before. This would be Diaclone toys made by Takara in the early 80s. Why, when they were making these, they were specifically like, let's pick the most exotic cars we can to have these guys turn into.
And it worked.
Because of that right there.
Mm.
They're the exotic cars that everybody can't see, but now I can hold one in my hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scale
Number one. Number two, you got to remember that, like for us car kids anyway, those were our poster cars. Those cars were plastered all over our bedroom. Those exotic cars and race cars and stuff like that.
I had a poster of Wheeljack before it was Wheeljack that I got out of a magazine.
100%. And I think that's the old guys on this on the stream here, like the G1ers here. It's like you're having that metal toy car that you bought, regardless if it was a Hot Wheel, if it was a small little one or a big one, Now that you're able to have one and transform into a robot, you're like, holy shit, man.
Mhm.
We
I'm
got
telling
two
you.
things in one, man.
Yeah,
Oh my god, this just blew our minds. And we're like,
that's why it blew my mind as a kid,
You know?
because because I was, I was old enough to start recognizing cars, and
Yeah.
I recognized the cars in the cartoon, and then it stood up and shot lasers at something else. That it was the coolest thing ever. That's
This
what got
thing-
me hooked on Transformers, because they were actual cars.
yeah.
Well, like I said, but my first two Transformers I got for my birthday in December, and then they were Skywarp and Wheeljack. The reason my parents got me Wheeljack was because I had that car on my wall.
Oh. Yeah, Lancia Strato Silhouette Racer is what it was.
And it made sense for us at that time. It definitely made sense. That's why for me, I love jazz. Like, listen, Optimus Prime is number one. Okay. But number two was always, like, for me, is just jazz, because it was so unique and a car that I always wanted. And maybe one day I can own, right? So it's something achievable. And we're like, oh, wow, this is cool, man. Like, I'm going to have that, and I'm going to drive that. And maybe one day in the future, in the year 2000, that thing will, like, transform, right? That's Saturday Night Live reference there. I guess.
You guys were holding up your best versions of Jazz. Yeah, sorry. G1, man. Best version.
I have a G1, but my daughter claimed it because it's her favorite character. And so she has it downstairs in her room.
This became second for me. Like I said, 15 years ago. It was funny because 15 years ago I had my son, right? He was born in 2010, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start him his own Transformer collection, which is really mine. And this was the first one that I saw, man, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this, and I did, and here we are later, 15 years later.
There we are. And G1, not G1ers. None of us want to be called G1ers.
I don't care.
Hey, okay, we're day oneers, okay?
Wow. Day oneers.
Okay. All right. What are you trying to say? My bid I didn't win?
There you go. Well, let me run that properly.
$1. Don't make me go on a Murder Prime, okay?
There we go. It's been a moment. So we have a CBR article which was recent. Let me see if I can get that on the screen.
CBR, crap beyond recognition.
That's exactly what they are. Let's see, where are you?
Or as I like to say, where's the comic book?
Yeah. Comic book resources. I mean,
Around $2,000.
Exactly.
$1. No, okay, never mind. I lost.
There we go. So
let's see what they're saying.
this
They're
article.
talking about the toilet.
James
line.
Bonds?
Oh, this is rage bait, straight up. Why do they have a picture of Lost Lights issue, not #1 cover?
Well, it's funny you say that because a lot of people were commenting saying this is basically rage bait, and the whole article is just written to make people angry, just for the sake of.
Transformers' newest toy line validates concerns about a problematic franchise trend, and it's not getting better. Photo of Lost Light, unrelated. Ever since it debuted in '84, multimedia brand that thrives in multiple places at once, thus the release of cartoons, comic books, movies, and video games always corresponded with accompanying action figures, with these being some of the main ways in which the property has stayed behind. Unfortunately, one upcoming new take on the robots in disguise is continuing what's proving to be a failed attempt at gaining younger fans. Transformers Cyberworld toyline and animated series are the next legs of the franchise.
It
These
hasn't
meant to
even came
appeal
out
to
yet.
kids in particular. Yeah. Sadly, the quality and nature of both already seem to be fairly lacking, especially given how things were for the brand 1 or 2 decades ago. If anything, things being done this way are only driving Transformers further in nostalgic irrelevance. Wow, this is a person that had an axe to grind. Like, remember, they literally unveiled these last weekend. They haven't come out yet.
Wow.
we haven't even seen what the show is. First full look has been revealed. It's clear. It's clear, guys, that the toy line and animated
After a week.
series are made entirely with very young kids in mind. The quality and nature of the upcoming toys has already been compared to cheap action figures from McDonald's or similar toy lines meant for incredibly young fans, and they're almost at the preschool level. The source on this is the writer. He said it. It comes off as an attempt to gain the next generation of Transformers fans, which is more than a worthy pursuit for the brand by way of Hasbro. Unfortunately, it's not quite being done the right way, guys, as it's hard to see these toys enticing little ones over streaming content on tablets and electronics. Even kids might be able to see the cheap nature of these collectibles, making them appeal to only the smallest youngsters. There's a complete lack of articulation in these toys, which doesn't exactly work for the main figures in the series for younger fans. Yes, your 5-year-old is going to demand that your action figure has ankle tilts and wrist swivels, or they don't want it.
Have they seen Rescue Bots?
Yeah, Rescue Bots was Rescue Bots is
That's
the
the
longest
longest
running
run
Transformers
TF
show.
series.
Yeah. Studio series and Transformers Age of the Primes are the more collector-oriented figures. Yeah, but it's not as if the majority of these are so articulated and complex that they would ward kids off. I disagree. Have they handled a Studio series figure? Anyway, if anything, they'll end up being far more compelling to kids than Transformers Cyberworld options, which look as if they'll be easy to outgrow. The animated series will be composed of 36 episodes in total, with these being only 5 minutes in length. I would like to note that's all we know about what the show is at the moment. Haven't seen any, no plot, no preview images. They just that many episodes, that length. It's
Supposed to be sort of like inserted into video games where they're forced to play together, so that's why you get some of the mixed matching of characters that normally wouldn't interact.
I think we're getting to the crux of the matter right here. It's an obvious attempt to grab the audience that's being fed on a strict diet of skibbity toilets, but even this might be short-sighted. So this is just a person who's like, damn, kids don't know what's good. Long-form storytelling and shows can still be major hits among young viewers, as shown by the success of various anime. No examples given. This actually bolsters the argument that Takara Tomy, which handles Transformers in Japan, needs to take control of the brand in general, namely by having a major Transformers anime produced. Oh my god, it's a weeb. No, that's his conclusion. He's like, okay, this is like some early 2000s shit. Takara makes the better stuff. Obviously, they need to take control of stuff and make an anime. Oh my god. Sadly, something of this nature hasn't been the norm for the franchise in over a decade. Transformers Prime was the end of an era for a franchise. First airing in 2010 on the Hub, Transformers Prime was an acclaimed animated series that acted as something of a watershed moment for the brand. One of the many disparate manifestations of the amorphous aligned continuity.
Okay, can you stop there? Hold on. Anthony, sir, can you stop? What is a watershed moment?
Like a big, important, direction-changing thing.
A watershed represents something, that big moment-changing thing. A watershed?
Yeah.
The 2007 movie would be a watershed moment for the franchise, for example. You know, how that's changed everything in many ways.
I understand that, but like, why are they using the word watershed? I'm just hyped. I'm just focusing on the word watershed.
Look, this guy...
The English language
like,
is weird.
I know words. Yeah. One of the many disparate manifestations of the amorphous aligned continuity. Like, that's a thesaurus. Transformers Prime combined elements and characters from Generation 1, the live-action Transformers movies, and the preceding cartoon continuity Transformers Animated. The show was fairly serious, and while it had its more comical moments, it was a lot darker than the cartoons in the West, including Transformers Animated.
Oh, wait, I'm going to stop you right there. Hold on. This guy here, he listened to one of our podcasts, like one of our shows, because I did say something like this.
Did you write this?
This is copyright. I'm going to copyright them. Okay, go ahead.
The tone and the way in which the lore was treated saw the series lauded by fans and critics, and this wasn't the only popular part of this incarnation. The Transformers Prime toy line was the main set of action figures in the franchise at the time, besides the Transformers Generations figures, the predecessors to the current Legacy and Age of the Primes toys. While they were meant for kids and adults, they weren't dumbed down. Representative of the characters' designs on the show and challenging to young and old fans alike, this line had several beloved figures. Sadly, this method of figures from the franchise ended with this series. Transformers Prime was followed by Robots in Disguise in 2015, which had a more lighthearted tone and cartoonish designs, despite being a direct sequel. The toys for that series were definitely a step down. What? This guy is not even talking about the main thing anymore. He's just like grinding an axe about stuff from a decade ago, literally
He's on a rant.
2015. Yeah, he's
Sounds
been
like
holding
me.
that in for a while.
Hold on,
Toys for this-
wait, hold on. Maybe we should put a Murder Prime moment here while you're reading this.
Murder Prime is not
Toys for
set up
the
at the
series.
moment.
Definitely a step down, even if this was still the main series of figures. Since then, the figures for animated shows such as Cyberverse and Earthspark have done the same, and the results aren't exactly pretty. These toys seemingly don't appeal to even to the young fans they're meant to court, as shown by the low sales of many of these figures. This is a point I'll give to him, because the TV shows haven't been getting good toy lines for a while. They tend to focus on the movies and legacy, and that's been a thing that I don't like. That you should advertise your shows more. I don't know, Cyberworld actually seems to be fixing that. It's overall night and day compared to where the brand was during the days of Transformers Prime, or even a decade beforehand with the release of toys from the Unicron Trilogy anime. I see you, weeb. While Transformers Our Model Line was criticized for how simplistic and inarticulate it could be, many of those figures were veritable high-end machines compared to what's being sold to kids today. It ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy, with Hasbro's attempts to increase engagement with kids backfiring due to how low quality these products are. While nothing worthwhile to collect or play with, it's unsurprising that this next generation is uninterested in Transformers collectibles. Jesus Christ, is this still going?
Oh
How
my
long is this
god.
article?
Should we
Oh
stop
my
here?
God.
Should we just stop here?
Okay, let's just go at this section, and then we can stop.
The biggest issue with Transformers at the moment is an unbreakable obsession with nostalgia, but few of the new things being done have much weight to them. Getting younger fans interested is key, but this is kneecapped when the methods used to do so have a low ceiling of potential. Pandering to kids in at least marketable ways will only push them away for something that seems uncool, although doing the same to older fans who feel alienated themselves. Cyberworld's not a nostalgia line, bro. It's like new stuff. Like, it's all like different designs. Anyway. I hope that to God there's some comments or something at the bottom, because I see that scrolling bar on the left is only halfway down.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
dude, there's a couple
Okay.
comments, and
Oh,
here we go.
God.
It's a
You'll
couple
love
comments.
these. Yep.
CBR, you do not know what you were talking about. Complain about toys being too simple, retiring too young an audience, after you have learned to fully appreciate what Rescue Bots has done for the brand. Yeah, they're still, they're still making Rescue Bots, even though
Wow.
there isn't a
Yeah.
show anymore. Yeah, they still put them out. If you go to like they're not next to the regular Transformers. You go to where like the Play School stuff is. They still make Rescue Bots.
By Fisher
Okay.
Price section.
Yeah. Stop turning the stupidest social media comments about a brand launch into an article. Binge Rescue Bots, play with the toys, interview some elementary schoolers. Do actual journalism. Otherwise, be quiet. Yeah, I mean, it really, like, listen, I've been on forums, I've been on Discord, I've been on social media. This reads like a guy, like a whining fan that somehow got a platform.
And on that note,
It's like,
Good old tap the brick
obviously
card.
this
I
is a
have a
bad
stroke
move.
now.
Obviously this is doomed to fail because it's not a Takara anime, which is what they should be doing. And
Yikes.
unrelatedly, remember Transformers Prime? I'm still mad that that hasn't. That was like 15 years ago, and they haven't done that. Oh.
all right, we have 7 minutes left. I'm going to do a quick roundup, set on Bockarts, what you have upcoming for the week. And we have 7 minutes for everyone.
I'm out of breath from reading all that.
Jesus Christ. So, I got the test colors for that figured out, so I gotta take all of this and color it in on this. So,
Cool.
I'll be doing that tomorrow probably, since I don't have to go in the studio on Tuesday. And then 2 burlesque dancers I know they were playing with some banana filters. So I do some really rough sketches of some banana dressed as burlesque Budero or mind it. So I'll probably do a nice drawing of that.
That looks like a costume design for like a show or a movie. Whenever they show you the concept art, that's exactly what it
Yeah,
looks
that's
like.
basically it was just me figuring out like color placement and just getting a rough idea of like, okay, what the colors I want to use.
Yeah.
So
Like I had a lot of books about like the production of like Star Trek, and it would always be like, here's some sketches for the costume from this episode, and they'd look exactly like that drawing.
yeah, I'm just to give like juxtaposition of like, okay, here goes a nicer drawing, and then here goes the, you know, not as nice drawing.
Oh, you got to
So you
start
can.
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
And,
looking forward to doing all those damn circles. Jesus Christ.
Mr. Magnus, over to you. What do you have coming up for the week?
Not a whole lot. We did get a new, or not a new store. It's one of our older stores called Hobbytown, and they have picked up Magic the Gathering, and so they are now doing a store credit thing. So I'm going to take a couple of cards in, and I'm going to get me some new $400 airbrushes.
Nice.
Because I wouldn't normally pay for them, but you know, when it's a card that I paid $3 for, that's now worth $9.
Oh,
So I'll take those in and get me a couple of real nice fine tooth paintbrushes. But at Big Bad Toy Store, I did have a new one hit, one of the 3 that I was waiting for. So my 86 liter class Galvatron is now in my bin. I've got 18 more days for 2 more that are supposed to hit this month before I have to actually ship this lot coming in. And a recap of what's in it right now is the Gargoyles. I've got Goliath, Lexington, and Demona. I've got the Transformers Studio Series Transformers 114 Megatron, my DK01 upgrade kit for Combiners Wars Constructicons, and Galvatron is now in there. Waiting to see if Megatronus leader class the 13 Megatronus the Fallen gets in there, and deluxe class G2 Breakdown are also supposed to be this month. So I'm hoping that they're going to hit before I have to send that box in, just to save on the shipping.
Right. All right, cool.
But other than that, that's about it for here.
All right, Adam Chandler in the comments saying, hello, I'm new here. Welcome, Adam. Welcome to our stream. You know, you're catching us right near the end, but you can always rewind after and watch the full episode and any of our other episodes as well. Over to you, Mr. O. What do you have coming up for the week?
Subscribe.
And subscribe.
Subscribe. Well,
like,
you
share,
know what?
subscribe.
Yeah, you know, last week there was like a big show at my work. Oh, hold on, let me get in frame here. It was called the Auto Show, and the cool thing is that I was able to pick up a few things from there. Yeah, and the first one is the Goldbug Hot Wheel.
Oh my god! Okay,
nice.
The rare Hot Wheels.
Yeah. Then I was able to.
Reminds me, I got a Hot Wheel this weekend.
Oh, that's pretty Hot Wheel. And then the second one is a little bit bigger.
Oh,
Mr.
I'm
Optimus
jealous.
Prime. Yes.
Like
You know the funny part is, this guy here did not put this out onto the main floor. Okay, he was only waiting for people like me that do actually collect these things, and that's when he was like, "Hey man, are you collecting?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking for the Transformer Bumblebee or Optimus Prime or what's it called, Ultra Magnus." And he said, "Hey, I got these 2. You want them?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's take them." So, yep, I got that. And again, when I was at Nowhere Comics over there on Keel and St. Clair, that better spin.
Here you go.
Okay, just to let you know, Volume 2 is out.
oh yeah, the stuff. It's like, please read it because
I am reading it.
Good.
Okay, I am going to read all this. Okay, the reason why I'm going to read this is.
Oh no, we've lost this sound.
You lost your audio.
Soundwave got you.
Soundwave got him.
There you go. You literally the reason I'm. Oh yeah, we still don't have you. We can't hear you.
Start the sign language.
Oh, sorry. 2 more things. Okay, I said I picked this up, so I'm not gonna. Obviously, I'm gonna read it. I picked up the G.I. Joe one here.
You literally said the reason I'm going to read this is, and then it cut off. So you're leaving me in a little bit of suspense.
Oh no, I am going to read this. This is definitely to read.
Yeah.
Okay. And why you put me small for? Forget about Mr. Boob. Thank you. All right. Forget about Mr. Boob there. Okay. All right. Then picked up another one here.
Oh, nice.
Again,
That's
my
a nice
man,
art type of
Soundwave.
Shockwave.
So yes, volume number 2 is out. I think volume number 3 is supposed to be coming in May. So watch out for that. And that's basically it. Anything else? Go to hockeynews.com if you like hockey. You want to read some articles. There are a whole bunch of stuff there that I've written. Thank you. Next.
Cool. And tour vintage reviews on YouTube. What do you have coming up from the week?
Well, if you ever want to learn how to steal an old car, I am going to be releasing a video that touches on that subject on the Cruisers Motorsports channel on Friday. we had
well, that's a hell of a pitch.
Children.
It's gonna be the history of hot wiring cars.
Children of Primus does not endorse the use of screwdrivers or spark plugs or any other malicious efforts of stealing a car.
I want to know how you know about the trick. I mean,
Does not endorse Grand Theft Auto other than the video game.
It's only Grand Theft Auto you get caught.
Wait. Only excluding if you grew up in Gina Finch. Go ahead, Toro.
And continue.
over on Toyo Vintage Reviews, eventually I'm going to get around to the second part of the real history of the Transformers. And now that I've got my voice mostly back, we will be starting the bot reviews again here on Children of Primus.
Which you can subscribe to our channel and go through all of our videos, but you can see those reviews that Toy Warp Vintage Reviews has kindly lent his voice onto Farrah Courage's writing and put together all the videos and editing, and I created the music for it, and we now have video versions of the written reviews, so check that out on our channel. And over to Farrah Courage, what do you have coming up for the week?
Bad news is I didn't get a review out on Friday because I needed to take a few more photos. Good news is it should be out tomorrow unless work gets nuts or something. VNR Optimus, the Volvo truck, took the last couple photos I needed today, so that should be ready to go. An unusual sort of figure without a home because, well, you'll see. I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think after that I'm going to look at the Ninja Turtles collaborative because that's still very much out in stores, and I haven't talked about that yet. I'm saying it because it's up there on a top shelf. That's why I was pointing upwards.
Cool. And
You talking about Party Wallop?
Yeah.
The turtle van?
Yeah, where is it? There it is. In his vehicle mode. This is kind of a nuts figure. Like I said, I'm not the hugest Ninja Turtles guy, but they did some crazy stuff with this. Yeah, look forward to that when a week or so after the VNR one comes out, which should be tomorrow.
Cool. So
Yeah, they had him mispriced here. That's why I bought it. If they'd have had 4 of them, I'd have bought them. But yeah, mine was only $20.
Why am I not surprised?
He was marked for $19.99, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not what he goes for. And so I just grabbed it and I walked over to the little scanner that's in the aisle and I binged it in, and yeah, it was $19.99. I was like, oh my god, look and see if there's enough that I can have all of them.
Nice.
Yeah, I told you, my friend who's a big time Turtles fan, I told him about it, and I was on the phone with him, and he was like, shit, I kind of want to buy all 4. Should I buy all 4? Shoot, I kind of want to buy all 4. And I was like, chill, bro.
We're going to be the 51st state soon, so just chill. Don't worry.
Something. So on that note, check us out, childrenofprimus.com. Our next week's topic, we're actually going to talk about Autobot Hauler. So that's going to be an interesting
Holler.
holler.
I would like to note I was joking when I suggested that, but apparently it's a legitimate thing now.
There you go. So that's our main topic for next week. So
Holler if you can hear me.
holla.
Yeah,
So-
as soon as you said
Let
that,
me
I
hook up
realized
Big
the
Papa
pun.
Pump.
On that note,
Is that
Yeah.
why his toy face has him yelling? I'll save that for next
Oh,
oh,
that
there you go.
roller.
And to all our one.
week. Yeah, to all or
For
one,
all or one.
as Holler goes.
We now return you to the Children of Primus.